Hey people, it is Monday, March the 4th. The time is 5:05 in the afternoon. It's currently 14 degrees Celsius. A very mild day here in the city, and I am on King Street. We're in the west end of town at Mowat Avenue, and just a bit further west is Dufferin Street. And I just completed a walk through the Parkdale neighborhood. And I thought I'd continue on along King Street, heading east towards the heart of downtown Toronto. It's a beautiful day. A great day for recording multiple videos. This is actually the third video I've done so far today. And I haven't done a video along this part of King Street in a very long time. At least not a pre-recorded video. On the right, we're passing by the Liberty Village area. But I'm going to stick to King Street itself. And you can see way up ahead the towers of the financial district. And there's some road work underway here. The streetcars have been diverted onto Queen Street. I think it's water main work, I believe. It is rush hour. I'm sure once we get closer to the core, we'll start to see some bustling commuters making their way to and fro. And here is Joe Shuster Way. This is named after one of the co-creators of Superman, who was originally from Toronto. In another video, I thought this was referring to Wayne and Schuster, the comedy team. So let me correct myself for this video. Here's Lamport Stadium. Currently has its winter dome over the field. It's named after a former mayor of the city. And this is all fairly new on this side. All these residential buildings with some new retail, a large Canadian Tire, a Longo's grocery store. Sort of like a big box style in terms of retail, but done in an urban format. And there's a GO train heading over the rail corridor. And looking up into Liberty Village. Got a nice stretch of restaurants all along here heading south towards the lake and into the neighborhood. And I believe Another one is coming up. Liberty Village is actually quite well served by restaurants and retail. I did do a recent walk through Liberty Village, but that became a members video. West Elm store and another strip of mostly restaurants along Atlantic Avenue. Another way to get into Liberty Village if you're a pedestrian. A very wide rail corridor we're going to be walking under. It feels very cool, dank, and damp under here. And it looks it as well. We saw the GO train pass over, also the Up Express will be passing over, as well as I think a Via train also. Re-emerge into the still warm sun, getting closer to sunset. That's not for another hour or so though. Not sure what is getting underway here. This is a somewhat recently installed pedestrian crossing over the rail corridor. Although I saw in the news recently that there are some issues that have arisen, making it feel unsafe for local residents to use it at certain hours of the day. It does provide some pretty awesome views though. See all the towers of Liberty Village there. Because before this was built, residents of Liberty Village on that side of the rail corridor had to walk a fair distance to go around to get over the tracks. So this certainly makes it much more convenient for them. They want to go directly from over there to King Street here, where they can often catch a streetcar if they're heading downtown. I'll save going up through the crossing though for my next full Liberty Village walk, which I'm sure I'll be doing one that is not a members only video before too long. And some more new residential buildings. Hey, a place to get burritos. Interesting spelling. I think this is where the streetcars are diverted onto Queen Street here at Shaw. Become quite the dense corridor. You go back 10-15 years, it was much less dense, far fewer residential towers or mid-rises in the area back then. So we're still walking past Liberty Village on the right-hand side. That's the 63 bus making a turn into Liberty Village. 63 Liberty Village is the name of that bus. There's a great old building here. Massey Harris. And it looks like this gas station has bit the dust, making way for another residential mid-rise by the looks of that redevelopment notice across the street. Gas stations in the core of the city are becoming scarcer and scarcer with every passing year. Crossing Strawn Avenue. So this clearly isn't as interesting as Queen Street West, a bit to the north of here, but it's still pretty continually lined with restaurants and retail. It's just not set up like a old commercial strip in the way Queen Street is. More occasional small low-rise commercial storefronts and commercial podiums at the base of newer residential buildings. You can make your way over to Fort York and the Bentway along these pathways here. Stanley Park. No shortage of people strolling along either. Not as busy as Queen Street, but certainly quite lively. I think time of day has a lot to do with that right now. Some nice old Victorian homes here, most of which are now businesses. Niagara Street. That will take you up to Queen Street in that direction. And it'll wind its way in that direction down past Bathurst Street. It's a rather interesting street in its own right.
Well, no. So Helen is still not.
Shy Coffee Company. So we're getting closer to what is the western boundary of downtown Toronto at Bathurst Street. And I realize I'm not talking quite as much in this video. I think I'm a bit talked out since I recorded 2 videos right before this one. And I seem to be tripping on my words a bit more also. If you're wondering what all the beeping is about, it's a fairly expensive chain of small-scale grocery stores. I used to go to one sometimes. It was located in the atrium on Bay, but it's no longer there. But I didn't find too many things I wanted to buy there due to the prices. And we're just about to enter downtown. And the sun is just glaring away, getting lower in the sky. I'm glad we're not walking in the other direction. That originally wasn't my plan for today, but I decided to change things around. And here is Bathurst Street. This corner will soon be home to a subway station on the new Ontario line, currently under construction. See work underway on both corners here on the east side of the intersection. Looks like they're preserving just the front facade of that building, and the rest of it is coming down. Whereas the building on the other corner is being totally torn down. Welcome to downtown. I think I'll just keep heading east along King. Here I might as well take us right into the heart of downtown. That was sweet. I hope the person on the streetcar appreciates that. The CN Tower is looming larger now.
Over a year.
This is the nightclub lounge area along King Street, which is the heart of the nightlife in downtown right now, at least among a certain crowd. Many of these places are restaurants in the day and more like nightclubs at night. Lots of great old solid brick buildings all along this stretch. This part of the street is much more visually appealing than the areas further west that we already walked through. All these nice heritage buildings. A new place opening up, Greta Arcade Bar and Street Food. 3D illusion art. And here's a keg steakhouse. And the new luxury condo development going up across the street. It has a very unique design. It's going to rise only to about 16 stories, so not extremely tall by any means. And I've said this before a few times, I think, but I believe Elton John purchased a penthouse unit in this building, so one day he'll be a local resident here in the neighborhood. And I think I'll cross the street again to avoid that music. That's the problem with walking along this stretch of King Street, is non-stop music coming from many of these establishments, especially if you're walking through at night when all the nightlife is in full swing. It's kind of a bit of a struggle to not get a copyright claim as you're walking through the area, whereas you have to continually talk over the music, sometimes just rambling on about nothing really, such as I'm doing right now. I think we're getting out of the music zone. Maybe I'll cross back again. We can get a look at the rendering of what this building will look like. All covered with trees and greenery. And it's called King Toronto. Just waiting to cross here. Still trying to talk over that music a little bit. And this part of Bathurst Street might seem quiet due to lack of vehicle traffic, because this is the transit priority corridor where car travel is restricted to allow streetcars to move more freely along the corridor. This is the busiest streetcar route in the city, and oftentimes streetcars would get bunched up in automobile traffic. So now cars can only travel a short distance along the street before having to make a turn onto an intersecting street. And I did a walk along this part of King Street not all that long ago in the other direction. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get off of King Street and go south to Wellington. Just to change things up a bit. Spin Toronto. I believe that's a ping pong bar. And emerging onto Wellington Street. And there's the Well development, as it's called. There's a multi-level outdoor shopping center incorporated into that development, along with multiple residential buildings and a major office tower. And approaching Spadina Avenue, all backed up with rush hour traffic. And here are a couple of remaining gas stations on either side of the street. These are here, I think, as a matter of convenience, since many of these cars you see heading south are making their way towards the Gardner Expressway and probably getting out of downtown or getting out of the city altogether. And this is a place for them to fill up before embarking on their journeys. But I think it's just a matter of time before these gas stations also disappear. This part of Spadina is rapidly densifying with new towers. And of course, cars blocking the intersection is a Toronto tradition. And we'll take a walk through Clarence Square Park. There's a sizable encampment here, which unfortunately has been in the news recently on more than one occasion due to some fires and a propane explosion recently. I can hear a generator running over there. right, I'm gonna go while I have the chance here. Continuing along Wellington, passing through what was once called the Entertainment District. I think it's now just called West Downtown. We're at Blue Jays Way. And maybe I'll take a walk along Mercer Street just to see how it looks these days. It's been a construction site for the last 5 years or so, and I think it's finally about to resemble a regular street again since those projects are close to wrapping up. This corner was once the home to Wayne Gretzky's restaurant. And now a new residential tower has risen here. And something new hopefully will fill this large retail space here. And here's Mercer Street. Still somewhat of a construction site. Got this residential tower, and right next door is the Nobu, which is a hotel and a condominium side by side. Sort of a twin tower development. And the old Second City used to be located here. They've since relocated and are now on Harbor Street. And this is probably one of the shadiest streets in downtown now. A very narrow street, lined with tall buildings. It's a good place to walk down during a summer heat wave. Still a little bit of trees here. It's not all towers and concrete and bricks and glass. Those birds seem happy enough. wonder if anyone has started moving into the condos here, and I wonder when the hotel will open. I think some people have already moved into the residential units. And emerging onto John Street. So I think I'll take us over to Metro Hall, which is right on my left here, to David Pecaut Square. Get a nice view of some of the theaters on King Street, as well as Roy Thomson Hall and the towers of the financial district. This walk has turned out to be quite a bit longer than I was planning it to be.
I know, it is true. Like, no, it's true. Because, like, if I...
We're back on Wellington.
If I did, I would do it differently, but that's not, like, whatever, you know?
Some curious little sculptures here.
It should be like that sometimes. But also, it's good because we're always...
This is CBC Red headquarters on the right. Red quarters? Well, it does have some red. Wasn't entirely wrong. And the Ritz-Carlton Hotel. And you can access the underground path network here at Metro Hall. And from here you can make your way all the way over to Yonge Street, underground. And all the way down to Union Station if you prefer to go that way, and all the way up to Yonge and Dundas. All right, David Pecaut Square. So there's Roy Thomson Hall, home of the Toronto Symphony Orchestra. This square isn't really used as much as it could be. It's a bit windswept and lacking in visual interest, but it serves its purpose, I suppose. Plenty of benches. But as I was saying, it's a good place to go to get some nice views of the surrounding cityscape. And this is a nice fountain in the warm months of the year. And in the not too distant future, you'll get an awesome view of the new high-end luxury condo skyscraper development rising right across the street, designed by Frank Gehry. It's called Forma. The Royal Alex Theatre. And the financial district off to the east. So I think this is where I'm going to wrap up this walk. We started all the way near Dufferin and King, kind of on the dividing line between Liberty Village and Parkdale, and made our way east. King Street was fairly busy most of the way, with lots of people out and about. So leave a comment down below if you enjoyed the walk, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And also be sure to hit that notification bell. That way you won't miss any of my videos. If you'd like to support the channel, there are links in the description where you can do so via PayPal or via my merch store, or you can also become a channel member or send a super thanks if you prefer to support the channel in those ways. And you can find me on Instagram under KContinuum. So thanks for watching, and be sure to keep checking back, because as always, I will continue.